Cheers, everybody. Smarty Pints, Graham,
Alex.
we're coming at you today from the store in Rockford, once again, Brew and Grow, to talk about this guy right here.
I know you guys, if you've seen the channel before, you've seen the system in action, but we had some questions on our Facebook and on our YouTube pages asking us to go into a little more detail about this system, so that's what we're going to do today. We're going to look at this system.
We're going to break it down and show you where you can find the parts, or try to at least. So I'm going to get behind the camera.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then you're the master.
All right. Well, I will give you the guided tour how this thing works. So it's really just a single tier, 3-vessel system. The process goes left to right. So we have over here a hydrologic small boy. This guy here is a 2-stage filter. It has a sediment pass and a carbon filter. So the sediment just gets out all the little particles, and then the carbon gets rid of any chlorine. And then from there we fill the hot liquor tank. And then the water will flow from the hot liquor tank down through this chugger pump. It has the stainless option on it. From the chugger to the mash tun. Not sure, I think we have featured this in some videos before. This has the Blickman Auto Sparge inside of it. It has really helped me increase my efficiencies, just not having to worry about throttle any of the ball valves up or down as you're sparging. I really highly recommend it. From there, we whirl off continuously through the mash through a rims tube. We have a video on YouTube devoted specifically to this rims tube, but I'll go into some detail here. Basically, we recirculate again through this chugger pump, up through here, pass through and back down. Right inside of here is a ultra low watt density heating element that you may find in a hot water heater at your home. Controlled by this Johnson Controls A419 controller. The temperature probe is in this thermal well up here. So we just dial into our desired mash temperature, and it supplies or cuts power to that heating element to maintain that temperature throughout the entire mash. Then when we're done with the mash, we simply transfer through the chugger pump right up here to our boil kettle. And when we're done, through that same chugger pump, transfer through this chiller. It's just a plate chiller. But on the out, I do have a 1/2-inch NPT air stone. So I hook that up to an oxygen tank through a sanitary filter. And that way we can oxygenate the wort before it makes its way into the fermenter. On the back of the rig here, we do have piping for the propane hooked up to just a single regulator. That way we don't have to worry about switching tanks or having multiple tanks for each of these burners. And these are the Blickman stainless burners. They're not the Hellfire. We don't have those in stock yet here at our location. But I find for this purpose they work really well. You actually do not need the center burner if you want to try to recreate this system. You can just heat up your strike water in the hot liquor tank and transfer it over to the mash tun, and then just use the rims tube to maintain your mash temperature throughout. Refill the hot liquor tank and heat up your sparge water there. So that by the time you're done with your mash, you should be up to temperature here to be able to fly sparge your way to your boil kettle. Also, up here up front, you notice we have all 1.5-inch NPT to 1.5-inch tri-clamp sanitary fittings. Those are on everything. For the boil kettle and the hot liquor tank, the thermometer is just a 2-inch probe. All you need is for it to come in contact with the liquid. But in the mash tun here, this is actually a 6-inch probe. For the mash tun, ideally you want to have a longer probe so that you get a more uniform idea of the temperature of the whole thing versus just a point towards the outside. Also, right here we just made a little control box, wired each of the pumps into it. So this switch here is for the left-hand pump, and this switch here is for the right-hand pump. Also on this configuration, it's important to note that the pumps are mounted below all of your vessels so that they will self-prime just by gravity. So the input is always on the bottom and the output is always on the top. And when you're using it, always use this to control the flow post-pump instead of restricting the flow to the pump. So you always want to have full bore coming into the pump and then control the flow post-pump. And I think that about concludes it. We just have this simple stainless cart. You can source those anywhere. Our particular one, we do have this diamond plating to reinforce it, just because in theory if all 3 of these kettles are full to 15 gallons, that's a lot of weight. Yeah, you can go onto Uline. They have some good carts. Also, I know some people that have sourced them from Walmart too. Any kind of cart will do. You don't even need to have a cart if you don't want a portable. Just put it on a counter somewhere. And I'm going to try and compile a pretty comprehensive parts listing to this that we'll put a link to in the description underneath this video. And if you like the video, please like it, share it, find us on Facebook, become friends. And if you have any more questions or if there's something I glossed over, please don't hesitate to ask. All right, cheers.